Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Pond, Executive Editor of Awards at TheWrap, and we're happy to have you here for our 2024 International Awards screening of Bulgaria's Oscar entry Triumph. We're here with the film's writers, producers, and directors, Kristina Grozeva and Petr Valkanov, and actress Maria Bakalova. We're going to show you a trailer, and then we'll go right into a conversation with our guests. To the audience, please participate in the live chat, share your thoughts about the film, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Now, before I introduce our guests, let's take a look at the trailer to Triumph.
Разделете се по двойки. Слабо, силно биополе. Така, слабото биополе ляга на земята. Слава, лягай. Ръцете нагоре. Хайде. Така. Ръцете нагоре. Точно така. Сега. Силното биополе трябва да отвори вратата на жизнения цикъл на деактивирания. Точно така. Гърдите защитават сърдечната област. Точно така. Тук е точката на залата на печатите. Тя трябва да съвпадне с точката на залата на печатите на деактивирания. Броите до 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. През това време трябва да внесете мир и спокойствие в абсолютния хаос, който е създаден от деактивирания. Евакуирането става чрез ротативни движения вляво или вдясно. Прегърни. Прегърни. И...
Welcome back. It's my pleasure to introduce writers, producers, and directors of Triumph, Kristina Grozeva and Petar Valchanov. And I guess we didn't know if she was going to be able to make it because she's a movie star and she's in production. Oscar-nominated actress Maria Bakalova. Welcome to everybody, and thanks for joining us here.
Thank you to having us.
So this movie, we need to let people know who hasn't seen it just what the story is, because it's a story that is completely unbelievable, but actually happened. Can you tell us a little bit about the real story here, which seems completely crazy, that the Bulgarian army worked with psychics to dig up a field and find alien artifacts for a couple of years. I mean, tell us a little bit about what that story is.
It sounds unbelievable, but it's true, absolutely true. This Triumph is the last part of the newspaper clipping trilogy, as maybe you know. And I vividly remember when I was a kid, and one day I saw in the village where we had a cottage, and I saw the military camp popped up, and was very surprised as everybody else. And yeah, it was crazy, crazy story.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I know that the two of you have like you said, this is the last of a trilogy about sort of strange events that happened in Bulgaria. But what was it about this one that made you think, okay, there's a movie here?
Yes, actually, the first private newspaper title, one journalist, his name is Dmitry Statkov, he discovered this case, and the newspaper title was Arming by Kalashnikov, high-rank officers and psychic start to dig underground to find some extraterrestrial. And in this title and in this And this sentence provoke our minds to start. During the first writing process, uh, we discover actually how big and important is this story for us, because it's happened after the fall of communism and the beginning of the democracy period. And um, somehow it's very connected and with our days too.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we thought that this is a very good metaphor of the not only of the insane transition our society is going through, uh, but as well, uh, how to say, um, the the contagious of madness that spread all over the world somehow. This nowadays.
Right. Right. So, Maria, how did you get involved in this one? I know you've known Christina and Petar for years, and you had a very small role in their last movie, The Father. But in this on this one, you play a big role, and you're also one of the producers. So, how did you get involved? Why did you want to be a part of it?
Well, I got a chance to meet, as you might remember, both Chrissy and Pepe back in university. They were my teachers, and to be completely honest, we don't have education for school for cinema acting for movies. And I was lucky to meet them because I believe it was like either my year or the year before when that class was included to the program, because it's usually theatrical training. Ever since I met them, I've been a huge fan of the idea of being able to work with them one day. So that's why when I was invited to audition for the role of Valentina in their previous movie, The Father. I was like absolutely jumping for it, whatever it is, just to be around them, to learn from them. It would mean the world. And then I happened to work on a couple of movies outside of Bulgaria, but my desire to create something with them, to collaborate with them, remained. And I was just searching for the right project to happen, the right story to happen, and the right collaboration to happen. And that was Triumph, because it felt very universal in a way, yet very authentic. It's something that really happened in our country. It's a story that is very, very rich. It's funny, it's tragic, it's dramatic, it's deep, yet it's ridiculous. And I had my experience with Borat already, which is a comedy. It's a political satire. And Triumph, I felt that it's somehow, in a strange way, related to that, somehow that feeling of blurring satire and tragedy, and how far you can go with a character that is layered, that is not, well, with Slava, she's not that outspoken, she's not that open, she's very much inside her own thoughts, inside her own life. But yeah, it was the right material, it was the right time. They were available, I was available, and we did it together. Also, I was happy to be a part of the producing side because, as I just mentioned, it's a story that I believe I can handle on my shoulders, because it's not so strictly Bulgarian, it's universal, because we witness every day that somehow the world is on fire. Not only in Bulgaria, but a lot of places, that people of power can make some crazy decisions how to run a country. And that's why having Five Oceans involved was important, to be able to spread the word of this movie more, and have the sense of being very specifically Bulgarian, because it, yeah, in the 90s it really happened. We're 2024 and it feels timely. It's strange.
Okay. Yeah. Now you weren't even born yet when this actual event happened. Did is it something you knew about before the movie came along?
Yeah, I mean, you grow up in a country where there was this place called Terichina, and you know, you somehow, when you're younger, believe that magical things might happen, mysterious things might happen. We're actors, we're storytellers, we believe in magic. the reason why I fell in love with art in general was because of magical realism as a literature movement, like from Marcus to Borges to Bulgakov, that type of project. So I was like, okay, maybe there is something. Maybe there's something bigger than us. Yes, of course, the more you dig into this story, the more you get a sense of like maybe it's not that magical. Maybe it's just a matter of seeing how to make somebody wealthier, somebody more powerful, somebody. The more you dig about, the more you get a sense of this is not just magic. This is not just mystery. This is something that is exploring power and power dynamics again. Who wants to rule a country? Who wants to rule a whole world? And who wants to get some benefit for themselves? So it's strange. Again, I keep repeating the same word, but I do feel like the movie is strange. The reality is strange as well. It's magical, yet it's realistic. Um, it's unique.
Yeah, right. I mean, Petar and Christina, do you think the period right after the fall of the Soviet Union, as you know, communism was sort of splintering, was was Bulgaria sort of especially ripe for that type of speculation and craziness back then?
Yeah, of course. It was crazy times. Mm, uh, I vividly remember because I was a teenager then, and we felt like animals let out of the zoo somehow, and we got freedom, but we didn't know what to do with it, and that's why maybe the society and the people was so involved by any um, strange ideas.
Fake prophets.
Yeah, to believe in fake prophets, and yeah, is tricky, but it's interesting that nowadays somehow this circle uh, start again. It it and yeah, it's it's interesting for us as artists to explore this tendency.
Yeah. Was it tricky to find the right tone for this movie? Because you know, as Maria says, it's somewhere between a satire and a tragedy. So it has lots of humor, but it's also, you know, real people spend a lot of time and a lot of money digging for nothing, and it's so. I mean, how do you find the right tone as directors?
Yeah, so for us, it's challenge every time to work with these different moods, with these different genres. Uh, these somehow are our inspirations to try, and of course with the great actors, and this, this is a lovely process. Um, so yes, this time maybe we try to be more how to say, more brave, and to, yes, to try to be more um,
To 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 how to say to step on the edge. We
mhm.
wanted to step on the edge with this project and to see how far uh, our imagination and our uh, ideas can go. And yeah, we have an intention to design how to say some kind of a multi-layered story, uh, and to achieve profound insights about both. about the individual and society. But we decided to avoid didactic didactic and lecturing tone, uh, and every time we prefer to use the tools of comedy and satire, and to to uh, to look on the problem, but in a funny way, not only from the dramatic way.
Maria, how do you find the right tone when you're playing this part? I mean, there are things about the part that are very funny, but it's also kind of a sad story, about this girl who's been told that she's a channel to an alien. Um, so how do
Well,
you find the right tone?
every single role that I'm playing, I approach with honesty and without judgment. And I think that's the only right approach to go through it. Because for a moment, for a couple of months, for a couple of weeks, you really have to believe this character. Whether you like him, whether you don't like him, you should not judge them. You should not only be an advocacy for them, but also be honest about them. Be honest about their feelings, their desires. And I believe we as human beings are very much the same. We all want to have this feeling of we belong somewhere, we're recognized by somebody, we have somebody that resembles us. And I do feel like Slava has this desire to belong somewhere, and that place might not be on Earth. And when she meets somebody that she can recognize as her non-biological mother, but somebody that feels like a mother figure, somebody that feels like a mentor to her, she opens up and she starts believing herself. And when this thing is taken away from you, something that has been really, really built in you, something that you didn't have before, it's scary. It's scary how things can develop further. Somebody that you might have helped develop their, I don't know, their confidence might turn completely against you and might create some madness. And that's why I think it's important to approach it with honesty and openness to it, because again, I do feel like she's to a certain degree the heart of the story, but she's also a reason why a lot of people get twisted, why a lot of things get even messier, why a lot of things get crazier. So she's not necessarily this angel dropped out there and exploring all the bright side of stuff. She's also layered, and she also has some dark side to her, intentionally, not intentionally, because of the, I don't know, the power that the character of Pirina has over her. um but yeah, you just have to approach it with honesty. And with my character, I think she might be seen by a lot of people as funny. I don't think she sees herself as funny. I think she sees herself as somebody that is really special, and sometimes that's actually funny. It's important to approach characters that have some comedic arc throughout their gestures, throughout their movements, throughout their actions, throughout the way they say certain things, the way they look. And I think Chaplin was the one. I keep repeating this because I was talking about another project also. When you look at a story from a close up, you can explore all the colors and see it as a tragedy, something dramatic, something heavy. But if you look at it from afar, that same story might look like a complete comedy and satire. And that's what Triumph is. It's a social commentary on the world. If you're dived into this place, you feel it like it's something really important, something heavy, something big, something really, really dramatic and tragic. But if you take a few steps back and look at the whole picture, you see a lot of insane people doing some insane stuff in a place that feels like it's forgotten by the world. And that's hilarious. That's funny.
Right, right. Um, yeah. So Christina and Petar, when you're directing a film together, do you often have different ideas about what you want to do with a scene or a sequence, and if so, what happens?
Well, yeah, we are very open for any ideas. On the set, we like to improvise and to provoke improvisations and new ideas, and uh, yeah, I think it's funny when we on the set and when we work. Uh,
Yes, we'd love to be surprised
yeah,
each other, but with the entire crew and with the actors, with the cinematographer, with the production designer when they are in the process and bring. And so yes, we are very open. And
yeah. And we are very grateful for our collaboration with Maria, because she is extremely organic, inventive, and brave actress. And we are really happy uh,
It's
to
my honor.
work to work with her. Yeah, we fall in love in her. So
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, Maria, I mean, do you have room to improvise? Are there things that come up just in the moment in the shooting?
I before Borat, I've never experienced improv before. Like I didn't know what to improvise might mean. And I was lucky that that was my first experience because I got a sense of what is it to have somebody that is guiding you throughout doing an improvised scene, and what is it later on when you don't have somebody but improv is like an equivalent of somebody that just doesn't know how to approach a scene. Lucky for me, I didn't have this experience with them. Like they were there, they knew which direction I should take, and if it's going too far, they can bring it back to the right direction. So it's incredible to be able to suggest something. It's incredible to even have a conversation about how a scene can go. And if you have somebody that is guiding you throughout this, because at the end of the day, as much as we love the idea of having the freedom, having our voices heard, having space to try something, we are subjective as characters. As much as I want to be objective and honest about a character, I look through it through the whole story through their eyes. And they're the people who have the whole picture. They're like the captain of the ship. So at the end of the day, I might get distracted and I might go too much further at one direction or a different one. It's important to have somebody that is navigating you. Improvise, but with bullet points. Like go through this space, try here, move around there. Let's see if you interact with that person, how this will change the storyline. So it's been wonderful. I was lucky to be able to improvise, but I was lucky to have somebody who's gonna be looking carefully at every single detail. Is it still true to the story? Is it true to the character? And if it's not, maybe we'll try something else.
Right. Um, yeah. So for the directors, what were the biggest challenges of making this film?
ah, mm, maybe the script. We had been writing the script for many years. I don't remember how many was exactly, where exactly, but maybe yeah, we we write the script very long time. After that, the editing was very challenging as well, and again was extended for very long period. Luckily, we have on board Yorgos Mavropsaridis, who save us. And it was very, very,
and I also remember for one other moment in the
yeah.
pre-production, a big challenge was the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks to our production designer, we found very how to say very good direction how
Yeah.
to to do it.
very resourceful decision, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. So it was shot in about a month outside Sofia.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. It was near to Sofia. Everything it's on real location, and also in the tunnel if is on 70% real location.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But it
right.
was safe, not ruined, safe, and thanks to the actors that they dig on real, and yeah, it was very very real.
Right. Um, I mean, this has been mentioned before in this conversation, but I do want to go back to the idea that you can say this is a story about Bulgaria in 1990, but believing in conspiracy theories and things that make no sense is not restricted to Bulgaria in the last century. I mean, there's a lot of that going on in these parts as well. I mean, did this always feel timely to you when you were making this?
Mm, yes,
Yeah,
I remember that maybe 1 year ago. I'm not so sure, but in Mexico, there was some kind of this story when group of science bring alien body in the parliament to show it to the and to make some science test, blood test of the alien blood. You know, after in one moment this news disappear and nobody talk about this, but it was very how to say intensive period of 1 month. Everybody discussing about it. So from this point of view, yes, these miracles, let's say, yes, these fake miracles came and came again. The power of the blind faith, it's yes, it's so strong.
yeah. And when we started to write the script, we thought that these were only, say, our local problems. But after that, we discovered that it's not only the problem only here. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, the contagious of madness is spread all over the world.
You
Hmm.
know, I find it very authentic the fact that we've been talking about this before. Like, we used to have, I'm not sure is it still like this, we used to have a channel on the TV where 24/7 there is a psychic, like telling you, calling a number and they're telling your future, like what's going to happen, etc., etc., etc. And I've been always curious to find a reason why this is so strongly important for Bulgarian people, for people from Eastern Europe, like until last week when I saw that this is something very common happening in a lot of places to a lot of political powerful figure who are also consulting with psychics. But I was finding my answers because of the fact that Bulgaria is a country. You know, Bulgaria has been existing in the same region of the world with the same name since 681st. That's long, long time ago. And after that, we've been through 300 years of oppression, then 500 years of oppression, then 100 years of communism. Like, imagine almost 1,000 years under some sort of oppression. When people have such a long history with a lot of disappointments, you develop a mindset where you become more suspicious about how things are going to turn. What are the prejudices in the future? So you try to find hope and something to hold on to. And even if that's psychic, even if that's something that you can recognize as otherworldly, you want to find a hope in something. You want to believe in something. You want to find a reason that, oh, maybe this is going to help me. Maybe this is going to bring some attention to my country. Maybe that's way this way we can develop our freedom and confidence again. Because if you look at triumph, these are years back in the 90s where after the communism falls, a country is so insecure itself. It feels like a child. And it's scary which direction we go. And we have moments in the movie where we have real footage of news channels where they're saying that is the only country in Europe which is choosing the Communistic Party as the first place, which means that, when you're scared of making a decision, when you're scared to take a step further, take a leap of faith and believe in something new, you go back to old habits, even things that you wish to get rid of, just because it feels more secure and because you're scared of what the future is going to give you. So that's why having somebody like a psychic, something that is not necessarily your responsibility, it's your fault, gives a reason why these people might go through some sort of a madness. Yeah.
Right.
But apparently, that's not only in my country, this is happening all over the world.
Yeah, I think that's important to say is that this is a story that makes sense far outside Bulgaria. Um, right. So Christina and Petar, are you thinking of more? I mean, is the trilogy going to become four parts, or are you going to move on in different directions from here?
I think it's enough for now.
We have to start with a new one.
Yeah, yeah. We have to switch the direction a little bit. It's not a very big change, I think, but yeah, we stop with the uh, clipping stop newspaper stories.
Now could be with Facebook or Instagram stories nowadays.
Hmm. Right. And Maria, what do you have plans to produce other stuff? I know you and Julian have a production company. Are you looking? Are you working on other films, or are you looking to produce more?
We do have a few projects that we've been talking about developing. It depends. Like, I don't want to just, if it's not something that I strongly believe in, and if it's not something that I feel like I'm personally connected to, and I cannot bring value to it, I don't think there is a reason for me to be producing. But if it's something that really means something to me, I would love to be a bigger part, and I would love to help as much as possible.
Right. Okay. Well, I think on that note we can wrap it up. But thank you all for joining us. To the audience out there, thank you for joining us. You can be the first to know about upcoming screenings and get access to exclusive content by becoming a Wrap Pro member. You can also take advantage of a free trial now. And for all screening information, including past screenings you might have missed, just go to thewrap.com and look for the events tab in the main bar. So thank you all, and congratulations on the film.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.